We are setting out on an epic autumn journey, leaving our Indiana home base far behind and heading west. Our first stop, a free camping spot at Chappell Lake in Chappell, Nebraska. We rolled into Chappell Lake after nightfall and after 13 hours of driving. Guided by the dim glow of our maps, we found a spot far away from the few other campers and set up for the night. This is a pretty spot and close to the highway, but the nearby trains run all night long. We woke before the sun rose, packed up, and headed out to the next leg of our journey. We pointed the Jeep westward, and Buddy, our ever-curious Chewini, kept a vigilant eye out the passing scenery. As we headed for Ely, Nevada, the open road beckoned, but not without a pit stop at the breathtaking Bonneville Salt Flats in Utah. Our Jeep Gladiator eagerly embraced the salt and sand, leaving only tire tracks and memories.
Never really know what's going on. Look at me sometimes like all you want to do is run. Hear me out, hear me out. It's all the things.
The sun dipped below the horizon as we continued our path towards Ely. A nighttime drive through the mountainous terrain awaited us, a challenge that became even more thrilling as we searched for the perfect camp spot under the moonlit sky. We picked the spot tucked away and hurriedly set up camp. We were greeted by the first rays of dawn, unveiling a beautiful campsite with no one else around. We couldn't have asked for a more peaceful morning, but Virginia City, Nevada awaited, the very place that had captured our imaginations through countless ghost tales and documentaries. Camp was packed up, and with Buddy by our side, we hit the road again. But you know us. If there's an unexplored dirt road, we're taking it. Adventure is in our DNA, and we quickly found ourselves off-road on an unfamiliar trail, having some fun playing in the dirt. With time ticking away, we had to make our way back and rejoin the main road. We soon found ourselves trailing massive semi-trucks crawling very slowly up the mountain. We didn't see a break in sight and just held out for hope of getting around them. We slowly came along a town and started searching maps frantically to find a way around these trucks. We said screw it and turned right on one of the town's side streets. We navigated as fast as we could down the town's narrow, uneven roads, each turn taking us closer to be able to get around. These town roads were nothing like the suburb roads we're used to at home. Not sure where the trucks ahead led, we turned towards the main road, but could we make it ahead of those trucks? No. We found ourselves right back behind that last truck, but ahead of the line of traffic behind him. With Chris's skill, driving, and determination, we overtook those trucks one by one, embracing the open road and continued our journey towards Virginia City. That last truck, he was driving quite fast. Finally, Virginia City greeted us with its historic streets, seemingly frozen in the 1800s. We parked and made our way to the famous Woosha Club for a ghost tour, and even Buddy was able to do it with us. The ghost tour was as intriguing as it was eerie. We learned about the area's rich history and the strange stories that surround it. With heavy hearts, we left Virginia City behind, knowing more adventures were on the horizon, and we would make our way back here to explore some more. The rich history and the outstanding buildings, who wouldn't want to come back? We continued our journey towards California, a dramatic shift in scenery, from desert to towering pines. We headed towards what looked like a breathtaking campsite by a pristine mountain lake that Chris had found us. The drive was rugged, challenging, but utterly beautiful. We ascended to over 13,000 feet in elevation, which took about an hour to complete, only to be met with very strong winds and cold temperatures. and made the hard decision to descend a bit for warmer night's sleep. The base of the mountain's temperature was supposed to be in the low 30s, and with the elevation, we would have been in the very low 20s. We set off down the mountain while enjoying some off-road fun. Our way back to the pavement. Shortly after getting back onto the road, we saw this beautiful lake surrounded by high pine trees and fall colors. Knowing we had a long drive ahead of us, we quickly got back onto the road. Our drive took us through the tall pine tree forest and into the rolling golden fields of California as we continued towards the coast. After some rough and tumble off-roading and 4 long days heading towards California, we decided to treat ourselves to a bit of luxury and got a hotel for a few days. And let me tell you, there's nothing quite like the joy of a hot shower after days on the road. On last summer's adventures, we found Rock and Roll Donut Bar, which is not your ordinary donuts. We struck up a friendship with the owners, and when the chance to become donut apprentices knocked, we answered. Where are we going today?
Rock and Roll Donuts.
What are we going to do today?
Make donuts.
Yeah! We got to do it all, from preparing the dough. As you can see, I don't know what I'm doing with that proofing. Cutting the donuts into squares and other fun shapes. Taking out frustrations while making berry fritters. To frying them up. Check out these super cute and huge turtle donuts that they make for the Monterey Aquarium. Those berry fritters were so good, and you can see I made them way too big. From frying to decorating, I had the chance to learn how to make delicious donuts from start to finish. We also found time to have great conversations about life and the donut world. We'd also like to thank Scott and everyone at Rock and Roll Donuts for the opportunity. Now, if only I could replicate those mouth-watering delights at home, Chris would be one happy husband. After a day of culinary wonders, we wandered along the coast, soaking in the serenity of the ocean, relaxing by the ocean and enjoying the natural beauty. It was a perfect few days of relaxing before we started heading east and hitting the trails again. We bid farewell to the waves and said hello to the desert vibes. Eastward bound, our next stop was supposed to be Jean, Nevada. Hitting the pavement again, we came upon a crazy backup and found them putting out a fire from a semi-trailer. Thank goodness it was heading west, but it still made for some traffic jams that we had to work around. We do truly have adventurous souls, but not just for dirt roads. We have a soft spot for the peculiar, too. Picture this, a quirky space building, and even quirkier things behind it, Alien Jerky Company. Even though we didn't eat the jerky, we couldn't resist checking out the extraterrestrial offerings they had. The gift shop was a treasure trove, and we snagged a few goodies. Oh, and get this. They're cooking up plans for a UFO hotel. We just might need to book a room ahead of time, just in case there's a close encounter. With the sun dipping below the horizon, it was time to scout out the perfect campsite. We got out our maps and started scoping out the surrounding area of Baker, California, and we found some BLM land in the Mojave Desert. As we made our way to the first spot that we thought might work out, we found that the road was closed from the flooding that had occurred there. We quickly turned around and headed towards another area. Originally, we had set for Jean, Nevada, but hey, plans change all the time on the road, right? And honestly, we weren't keen on fumbling around in the dark again for a camp spot. We found some more road closed signs, but we kept driving, hoping for the best. Maybe we could at least get a little bit down the road and find a spot since it was starting to get so dark. And we actually found a little hidden gem nestled among the rock formations. And it appeared as we were the only people around in this vast Mojave Desert. We could see lights off in the distance from the freeway, and they were so far away that it looked like they were snails driving down the road. And it made for some beautiful scenery as the sun went down, and the most quiet and peaceful night we had had on the trip so far. After a bit of strategic maneuvering, Chris skillfully leveled up our setup just in time for us to witness the mesmerizing sunset. The Mojave Desert enveloped us in serene stillness, prompting us to unfold our camp chairs and relish a tranquil moment before retiring to our tent for the night. In the heart of the Mojave Desert, where the sun paints the rocks with hues of red and gold, we awake before the sunrise, cherishing the tranquil beauty of our hidden gem. After enjoying our camp spot for a bit, we packed up and decided to embark on a spontaneous desert adventure, choosing a trail that beckoned us into the vast unknown. But before we jump into our off-road journey, let's take a moment to uncover the rich history that blankets the Mojave Desert just outside Baker, California. This barren land, home to tales of Native Americans, Spanish explorers, pioneers, and prospectors, holds the weather remnants of a bygone era. As you explore the area where you feel like no one else is near, you can't help but wonder what it was like just a few hundred years ago. We found mysterious concrete slabs of an old abandoned homestead, lots of old rusted metal objects, and trails going in every direction. Our journey led us to intriguing discoveries, remnants of the past, a possible cave and landscape that whispered stories untold, a place calling us back for further exploration on future trips to this area. I think we've had a lot of fun exploring this area. There is lots of information about the history and the area altogether on the National Parks website if you'd like to check it out. Leaving the Mojave behind, we pointed our compasses eastward. Cruising up I-15 towards Halloran Spring Road, beckoned by the curiosity of our shared name. We had seen the signs for Halloran Springs Road a few times on our travels, but had never stopped until today. The history of Halloran Springs Road is elusive, a road that once echoed with the footsteps of the past. As we ventured forth, the pavement dwindled, revealing the scars of time and washouts. You can see where people have placed rocks around where the road has begun to split for safety reasons. One day in the future, this might be a road that can no longer be traveled. We crossed over I-15 to the other side of Halloran Springs, where an abandoned gas station called Eat Low still stands. A graffiti-covered relic of yesteryears, we explored its eerie emptiness before daring to adventure onward. We jumped back in the Jeep and headed towards what we figured was the other side of Halloran Springs Road. The road began to narrow and nothing but emptiness to the right and I-15 to the left. There were still power lines and poles standing that must have led to the old gas station. With the abandoned and almost forgotten Halloran Springs Road, we came across washouts and small obstacles, and we managed to find a little hill to climb toward the end of the road. Returning to solid ground, we set our course for Las Vegas, not for the glitz and glamour, but for the vegan delights that awaited us in the City of Lights. Vegas has become a must-stop whenever we're out west. They have so many vegan restaurants, and we certainly have our favorites and have discovered new ones on each and every trip. With our taste buds satisfied, we hit the road again, this time towards Riverside, Nevada, where Chris had discovered a spot along the river for us to camp. Only seeing satellite images, we were not sure what to expect. But Chris has a very good track record for finding us great spots. Nestled along the river, our camp spot offered serenity as we prepared for the eclipse, an event that turned the day into twilight, a moment of awe beneath the vast Nevada sky. We didn't have the eclipse glasses needed to view it properly, but we did notice how the sun seemed to be lower in the sky behind us and how it brought a chill to the air during it. Next time we will certainly have some glasses. Before embarking on the House Rock Valley Trail, we made sure to fill up our tanks, knowing that gas wouldn't readily be available for the next few days. House Rock Valley, nestled in northern Arizona, north of the Grand Canyon, is named after a rock formation that played host to the John Wesley Powell expedition in 1871. The trail is rated moderate and is 28 miles long. Estimated time of completion would be 3 hours, reaching a highest point of 8,553 feet. It was time to prepare for the rough terrain ahead. We stopped to air down using our new Morphlate system, making the process of deflating all 4 tires a breeze. The trail starts in low grasslands with tall trees and distant views of the Vermilion Cliffs, but quickly transforms into rocky terrain with wide open fields due to past wildfires. Even Buddy seemed to be getting a bit annoyed after hours of navigating through the challenging landscape and not being able to just go to sleep. Just look at that face. As we descended the other side, we encountered a sign commemorating the expedition of October 22nd, 1776. Skirting the base of the Kanab Plateau, the trail served as a prehistoric route for American Indian peoples for thousands of years. The history came alive as we learned about Spanish priests trading with Indians along the foothills of the plateau. We really enjoy getting to learn about the history of the land, and seeing signs like this helps us to do just that. Exiting the mountain, the trail unfolded into a flat pasture land, deceivingly flat, with hidden dips, washouts, and confusing turns. At times, it felt like we were driving through somebody's ranch. The adventure continued as we navigated gates and unclear paths. Thank goodness for us downloading maps so we could see where the trails are supposed to be and to try to continue on them. You can tell that some trails in this area have not been used in some time and are being taken back by nature. Chris led us to what promised to be an epic campsite. The challenge? We had no way of knowing if it was occupied, and there were no other apparent campsites nearby. With the sun setting, anticipation grew as we hoped to find the spot and it be empty, and we could call it all ours. You wouldn't know by the video, but after a steep and narrow decline, we finally reached the spot Chris had discovered through satellite images. We quickly parked the Jeep, and Chris, Buddy, and I jumped out to marvel in the pure beauty of this area. It was almost unreal that we had found this spot by satellite while planning this trip back at home in Indiana. And now we are here, and even more epic than we could have even imagined. Surrounded by silence, we marveled at the breathtaking sunset painting the rocks in hues we had never seen before. We had visited the Grand Canyon a few times through the years, and the sun always seemed to wash the canyon out. But with the sunset, it was breathtaking. The sky filled with stars. Not another light anywhere could be seen, and the calm of this place in this area is undescribable. You're just at pure peace. As night fell, the beauty of the Grand Canyon, the tranquil atmosphere, and the isolation of our campsite created a special experience. Even Buddy, who was always on high alert, found peace. This corner of the world, not just its stunning landscape, but the serenity it offers, left an incredible impression on our hearts. We all slept soundly, grateful for the privilege of sharing this unique and beautiful spots by ourselves. We made a quick breakfast, and while I cleaned up camp, not a bad place at all to do the dishes, Chris got busy packing up the tent in the Gladiator. We scanned camp one last time to ensure nothing was left behind. Remember to always leave it better than you found it. Took in the view and got ready to hit the trails. Chris had marked some trails on Gaia maps for us, but we really had no plans for the day. Just have fun, explore, and make sure we left early enough to get to our next camp spot. Not too far off from our camp spot, we found another incredible spot that we could have stayed at. We even debated if we should just stay one extra day. We always leave 1 to 2 days open in our trip plans so that if we find that perfect spot to hide away, we're able to stay a little bit longer and enjoy it. We finally decided that we should just move ahead and plan to spend some time here again on another trip. We were going to be making our way towards the Rim Rocker Trail and didn't know what we might just find there. We have grown to appreciate and enjoy the desert more and more through the years. The vast open areas, the peace and quiet, it just pulls us in every time. As we made our way around the North Rim, we were amazed at the scenery. The drive itself was an adventure, with steep hills, rocky terrain, narrow paths, washouts, and more. There were multiple times that we were lost in the trail altogether. Luckily, we keep an iPad on board along with our Gaia maps always up and ready. Even though we didn't have service, we're still able to see what should be the trail and continue to try to stay on it. The Gladiator handled it all without any issues, providing us with a smooth and comfortable ride thanks to our newly upgraded suspension. We marked some other camp spots along the way for future reference, and also marked trails that were a no-go since nature had taken them back. Overall, it's an area of rugged beauty, offering solitude and opportunities for exploration and outdoor adventure for those willing to venture off the beaten path. It's not a very technically challenging trail, but there are some fun drop-offs, rocky and cliffed areas to explore. There were multiple gates that we had to open along the way, which made us question if we were still on BLM land, but we always made sure we were not on private land according to our maps, and we closed the gates behind us. The gate areas was something totally new to us. The area features a mix of high desert terrain with vast, sparse vegetation, rocky outcrops. We saw no wildlife along the trails except for the occasional bird. The terrain is characterized by deep canyons, dry washes, and mesas, adding to the dramatic scenery. We stumbled upon an intriguing mystery, an old abandoned homestead nestled in BLM land. As we explored, we couldn't help but wonder about its past and why it was left behind. However, our journey was not without challenges. Navigating through a dry washout area, we lost the trail entirely. Thankfully for our Gaia maps, we managed to find our way out and back to the pavement. We loved our time here and will definitely be back to explore more on a future trip. We lost track of time as normal and decided it was time to head towards Utah, where we had marked a spot for the night. About 4 hours later, the sun started to set, and we decided it was best to find a different spot to set up for the night instead of trying to make our way in the dark again. We found a national forest area and a spot tucked away in the trees. This was just a sleep spot, so we set up the tent and went straight to bed. We woke up early in the morning, packed up, grabbed some breakfast and coffee, and made our way to Moab to start the Rim Rocker Trail, which you can catch all the fun on our next video. Thanks for watching, and we hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content. Let us know in the comments where you think we should explore next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next adventure. And remember, life's a journey. Might as well make it an epic one.